Now, from News Channel 8, this is Good Morning Washington.
Still ahead here on Good Morning Washington. Are you having a hard time creating a plan for your finances? After the break, we have some strategies you need to secure your financial future.
Graduation season almost over, and many youth are thinking about life after college with loans, credit, the stress of finding a job. Many don't know where to start when it comes to financial success. Well, look no further. Roy Paul is the executive director of Sense Ability, and he joins us, I love that name, to share some information about how that you can use to have a secure financial future. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Sense Ability, Sense, C-E-N-T-S Ability. Tell me how this got started.
It got started because two Harvard grads, Harvard Business School students, said, you know, we have access to all of this knowledge in our personal lives, yet they were struggling financially. And so they said, what can we do to give back to people, especially in lower income communities who don't have the same knowledge that we do? And that's how Sense Ability was formed some 14 years ago now.
Wow. Why is it that we learn everything in school except finances? That's the one thing that,
Sure.
that was never taught.
That's the $64,000 question,
Yeah.
right? You know, some states have gotten very smart about it, and others haven't. Some states will say economic success is important because they realize the connection between students who graduate, end up in loans and in debt, and don't have the knowledge to pay it back.
Right.
And we've gotten knowledgeable where we know that economics is not personal finance. So teaching someone, you know, arithmetic is not the same thing as what is a good and bad use of a credit card.
Right. And how to then even get out of situations. And it cripples our economy because if you are in deep debt, you can't go build those life blocks. You can't go get a mortgage. You maybe not buy a car or buy a car with a low mortgage rate.
Sure.
You're giving your money to other people, which is good for them, but not necessarily for you.
And teenagers are at that critical point, which is why we focus on them, because they're right at the age where they're going to be bombarded with credit card solicitations. They're going off to college. Many of them are taking out loans and have no idea how much they're going to pay back when they graduate.
Yeah.
And it's legal in this country for people to take out college loans to the tune of $100,000, $200,000 and don't really have a way of paying it back.
Right.
And hopefully when they graduate, they'll get a job. But if they don't, they're saddled with a whole bunch of responsibility that they weren't prepared for.
What are some of the principles that you teach with Sense Ability?
Sure. Well, the one that strikes me is the 50-30-20 rule, where we say 50% of your salary should be spent on things that you absolutely need, 30% on your wants, and then 20% just save it, right? Because we don't save very well in this country. And so we try to teach young people, especially when you get a check, take 20% and don't touch it.
You talk about student loans, the financial impact of those. We're seeing people spending 20 years paying them off.
Sure.
I mean, how do we mitigate that?
Well, part of the problem is picking the right school, right?
Yeah.
If you can't afford to go to a school that costs $50,000, $60,000 a year, maybe you should consider community college or state schools, and there's really nothing wrong with that. A lot of young people think if I go to community college, it's like 13th grade or something like that, and that's absolutely not the case. There's a great deal of success stories with folks who go to community college and end up having great careers.
You were saying also develop a budget is so important, and that starts, like you said, even at teenage years or before.
Right, and I remember I was speaking to a high school class, and one of the students said, how do you create a budget? And I said, Google. If you don't know how to create something or do something, Google is your friend.
Sure.
And it's something that everyone should know because a lot of people have a lot of money going out, a lot of money coming in, and they're not keeping track of it. And 42% of Americans don't operate with a budget. So it's not just teenagers, but there's a lot of adults who don't know these basic principles either.
I don't know how that happens. I am obsessed with my budget, and every night on my spreadsheet, my own little thing I've got going every year, and I've done this for forever. What are some other tips you would give young people?
401k planning. A lot of young people, whether it's a summer job or they're going to get their first job after they graduate, there are a lot of companies that offer a 401k plan and they match it. And a lot of people don't exercise that match. And it's a simple thing you can do is pre-tax dollars.
It's free money.
It's free money.
Yeah.
And so I always say, if HR gives you that packet, read it, right? It's not something for you to put onto your desk and just wash away. It's some very valuable information in there.
Yeah, it's good stuff. What's your website? People can learn more about
Absolutely. www.sense-ability.org. And any school district in this country can call us, and we'll send them our literature for free, our modules, and it's absolutely free, no cost.
It is, as you said, we can't teach this enough to young people and adults too. But let's start young. So,
Exactly.
all right, Roy Paul, good to have you here, and good luck with the mission.
Thank you.
All right, 8:15. Let's go back over to Adriana now.